This episode of Pondoff's Anonymous is brought to you by McKelvey Insurance Group. If you've ever felt confused or overwhelmed by insurance, McKelvey Insurance Group keeps it simple. They are an independent agency, which means they compare options from multiple providers to find the coverage that actually fits you and your needs, not just one company's policy. There's no pressure, no jargon, just honest guidance and real help. Call Evan McKelvey at McKelvey Insurance Group at 618-623-0080. You can reach out to us at Pondoff's Anonymous and we'll connect you. Or visit their website at mckelveyins.com. That's McKelveyins.com. We couldn't produce this show without them. This episode of Pondoff's Anonymous is brought to you by Light Source. What do we need when we're in the dark? Sometimes it's simply just a light source.
Yeah. I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. React if you have to, yeah. Don't know the time, yeah. Just know that I'm, yeah, one of a kind, yeah. What's on your mind, yeah. Well, hard to find, yeah. Beautiful mind, yeah. Still in my prime, yeah. Just know that I'm here.
All good?
All good.
Welcome, everybody. Pondoff's Anonymous. Return guest tonight. The one and only Michael Wellington.
How long has it been?
2020.
COVID?
Pre-COVID, it was right. You were I think you might have been our last guest live in person because you came to the studio
In Maplewood.
at the church. Yeah, in the green room at McCausland where we have drug church. And then COVID hit, and then it was Jeff and I in our basements. And Jeff has recently left the show. He's still a member of the family, but Kurt's kind of stepping in, and you know Kurt well.
Yes, you couldn't have a better knowledge on your team.
We love Kurt.
Absolutely.
We love Kurt.
I think so.
Pro Kurt.
He's quite the sniper.
Yeah. He's an essential tool in your squad.
Was that a... Did you just...
A gun noise?
Uh-huh. Like, I don't know if it would kill anything, but it was definitely a...
Okay, well, I have this theory that all boys, men, whatever, dudes, are, like, built in with this ability to make a machine gun sound effect with their mouth. Like,
Born that way, yeah.
Every boy that I've... Anyway.
Because
I can't do it. And
yeah,
so that was the best I got. I was like, pew, pew.
All right.
Sorry.
East St. Louis isn't far. Could have been outside.
Drove right through it. Stormy night. Thanks for driving all the way out here.
Yeah, I was excited when you asked me to do it, and certainly want to come over here and share some information and try to help people understand different aspects of mental illness, different aspects of addiction. And, you know, I've been doing this stuff since 2013, I think. So
Boy,
13 years, that's crazy to think about.
I was on rock bottom in 2013 too.
Yeah.
2012 to 2014 were my just camped out, getting my mail at rock bottom.
Yeah, I had season tickets as well.
Sure.
Like from about
Parallel.
01 to 06.
Okay.
Was my rock bottom area.
That was it?
For sure. Oh, without a doubt.
And when did you write the book?
The book came out at the end of 2015.
Okay.
Wait, but so when did you write it, though?
I wrote it in most of 2012 and the first part of 2013, and then it took the editors a little bit to do the publisher a little bit of time to do the editing and, you know, pick the cover and all that kind of thing. So, you know, finished it beginning of 13, and I think it came out, end of 15, beginning of 16. So it was quite a process.
Yeah, it probably felt good to finally get it over with. That's exciting.
Yeah, a lot of people will say, well, are you going to write another one?
Sure.
And the answer is, well, I hope not, because that means I will have a new set of stories.
I won't read it for 10 years, even if I do.
Fair.
You yeah, right. If you don't want a sequel.
Exactly. That's what I try to explain to people. Like, if I have to write another book, that means there's new things that have happened and that I've lost a little bit of control of myself.
Sure.
So we definitely don't want a sequel.
And the title of the book's Birdies, Bogeys, and Bipolar Disorder.
Correct.
That's the official title.
Yes, forward by the one and only David Faraty, who now is with Live Golf, but for many years was with CBS and was a Ryder Cup player for Europe, and really a great man. And Joe Buck and Jay Delsing were essential in making that connection and making that happen.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I think what COVID did, which is ironic, because that's when we first did a podcast episode together and really met maybe at one of the golf tournaments, and started kind of talking about bipolar and how my life was impacted by it being a loved one of someone at a time X relationship, and then I have a son whose I think life has been impacted by it, in his lineage. We met in 2020, and mental health. It almost what COVID did to it was just, wreck it. There's all kinds of words that come up.
No, it did.
And especially people that in recovery and mental health battles that rely on routine and structure. Access to medications, access to group therapies. It was all wrecked. So that's when we met. And now, your book came out in 2015, but it may be more important and relevant today as people learn more and more about bipolar disorder or other struggles that people go through. So I'm excited to share it. I recommend it to quite a few people still to this day. Want to pick up some copies and bring to Drug Church, to our resources table.
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
So when you told me about the book and that you were coming on, it was one of those things where it's like, do I watch a movie or read the book first? And I was like, I felt like I wanted to have a conversation with you first and then read it afterwards, so I can know the tone. You know what I mean?
Of course. And I think one thing that'll help you, I don't know if you know golf at all, but that's okay. But when I wrote it, I had a writing coach in Florida who helped me with it, and she didn't know. She used to work for CNN, and she had a large background in writing and editing. And she said, "What do you want me to help you with?" And I said, "I want you to help me shape it so someone who doesn't know anything about golf can understand, 85% of the language in it, because even though golf is a major has a major role in the book, I didn't want people to get lost in the golf minutia when trying to learn about what to do to handle bipolar disorder."
Yeah. That's
So-
awesome.
So yes,
Thank you.
You will
Of course.
enjoy the book.
I'm excited.
And Zoe, can you share with your struggle with it's your story? I've already shared with them, with the listener.
Chris loves to tell people, so I don't know why he's pretending like
Right,
he's
okay.
not. And if you're... I got diagnosed with bipolar 2 in, it was 2020. It was like I had gone back to college after sophomore, second semester got cut short, and then that was COVID era, shut down, blah, blah, blah. We go back to school later that fall, and right before then, I had this moment, and my mom was like, "You need to call the doctor." And then I did, and I took this 400 question test, and they gave me all these acronyms. So bipolar 2 was the first one they decided that they wanted to try to treat before ADHD were essentially the two big ones. And so I feel like all the time I'm like, is this actually bipolar, or am I just do I have a very nervous, overactive nervous system? Because that's really what bipolar is, which I'm so excited to talk to you with you about this. But anyway, so the diagnosis it feels less important than the fact that medicine that treats it is helping me. But it was jarring. It was my biological father who,
Shout out to Denny.
yeah, God bless his soul somewhere out
That's
there,
sarcastic.
bipolar 1, unmedicated, in and out of the psych ward through my childhood. And so having this breakdown and knowing okay, you have to go to the psychiatrist, and then probably face some really hard truths about who I am and where I come from and what I have to do to survive it,
It is hereditary.
Yeah. Don't I know it? Yeah, my brother, I have one biological brother, and he's very into exercise, has been dating the same girl, and they're married now, but they dated all through high school, all through college. She's very like...
You're complete opposite.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. So I'm happy to take one for the team, though. He deserves a good wife, you know.
Of
You're
course he
welcome,
does.
Aaron.
You do as well, Zoe.
Well, hopefully I'll have a good wife one day.
Sure.
Well, it's funny you mentioned ADHD along with the bipolar disorder. You know, I've done a lot of coaching in the last 10 years
Really?
since the book came out. Yeah.
If you're looking for any new clients.
Well, you know, it's not something that I've really monetized, to be honest with you. I just
Okay, well, that's good because I don't have any.
Yeah, I try to share ideas on how to, for lack of a better term, compete against the disorder.
Oh,
because I feel like a competitive mindset when dealing with bipolar is really the only way that I've been able to handle it.
That's very interesting. I am the least competitive person I think that I've ever met. I'm like
Even in choir, like show choir, you were not competitive, you don't think?
Yeah, no. I mean, like being in my mind, it's like, oh yeah, you can only do your best, you know, and
Good thing you didn't play golf.
yeah, or like any sports. I feel like that's like low. I don't know if it's like low motivation like mindset now, but it's like all you can do is do your best, and
Correct.
the most important thing to everyone around you is that you're the nicest person in the room, which is what my mom told me. So I was like, okay, great, vibes only.
Well, are there things that you do, whether it's each day or in a week's time, to handle the disorder yourself?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
whether it's taking medicine, exercise, journaling, you know, transcendental meditation is one of my favorites. I mean, do you have like a routine or things that you do to keep yourself healthy? Because you look healthy, you sound healthy.
Yes. So it's something's working. I do actually. It's probably about to go off. I do have. I take medicine twice a day. I was on Lamictal, just like
Yep.
a baseline dosage.
Absolutely. Very popular bipolar
Oh
drug.
my god, love it. Love it.
Lamictal?
Lamictal.
Lamotrigine.
Also used for people that have...
Epilepsy.
correct. Thank you.
Which is why I have this whole bipolar theory, because if an anticonvulsant treats bipolar and a seizure disorder, it's like, is bipolar just a mood seizure? Like, how do we, like...
I see what you're saying.
Interesting. I've never heard anybody say that. Yes. I would say yes.
Well, because I read about it, and it like regulates the sodium channel to
Correct.
figure out how many electrons gets through, which makes sense because like when I'm having a fucking moment, I'm like, sorry.
No.
Are you kidding me?
By all means.
Anyway, so
I'm really... Go. This is incredible.
okay, thanks. But it's like I can feel it. It's like I get the simultaneous urge to scream and cry at the same time, and like that is the nervous system like to the max. It's like if I can't even decide which one of those to do, like, and I can't describe the feeling, but it's like once I read, it's like your body's receiving too many inputs. Like there is genuinely too much going on, and it's not your fault.
Overstimulated. Yeah.
All the time.
God.
And it's like once I read all the science behind it, it's like that makes sense. But I feel like I'm overstimulated. It's like very like a fad language right now. But yeah,
So-
it's what it is. Yeah.
So many times Zoe has told me that she needs low stim time.
He doesn't get it.
I do.
Some would
I-
call that rest.
Sure. I don't know what that is yet, but
Other than like the time I spend at night asleep. Like
Right.
you do it during the day too sometimes.
I do see you, and
He does a good job with it.
I'm
But I can tell
getting
there's
better.
like
But this is even hearing you two talk, hearing you kind of, you've really gone into depth more than a lot of, talking about your icks, which he has a lot of.
Listen, well, it's either
This is
sports
incredible,
or
right?
like alcoholism, and like I only have so much to offer to either of those. Mostly a listening ear and encouragement. But
Sure.
we're speaking
Lot of
my
empathy.
language now.
What'd you call it? A
Oh, anticonvulsant or a
no.
mood seizure?
mood seizure. Yeah,
I've never heard it called that, but that's what it is.
Well, and another thing I learned recently is there's this autoimmune disease. It's something that it's like just a complete flare up, but it's also treated by an anticonvulsant. So it's like if it's doing the same mechanism, like chemically, then it's whatever autoimmune thing is causing the body to hurt itself in that way, which causes like chronic pain, like joint instability, stuff like that. Okay, so the body's literally taking in too much, and it's like prolonged. Anyway, I just am like fascinated by.
I can tell, and it's great. There's a migraine medicine that is also, I thought, an like epilepsy like medicine. So when you're talking about body and pain, I would go down a rabbit hole here. But Mike, tell us when you grew up playing competitive golf. So
competitive everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it was soccer, it was basketball, and then college I played golf. But I mean, growing up, it was soccer was a big deal, and then in high school I played basketball and golf. So that competitive mindset that I learned at a young age, I think, helped me when I got older to handle the bipolar.
Okay,
for sure.
Absolutely. And you said it was hereditary.
Yes.
Does it in your family?
Yeah, so I have what people would refer to as an acute case of bipolar. My dad has a very mild case. My dad was an alcoholic. He's been sober for 44 years, I believe.
44 years.
Yes, he went to the Highland Center at St. Anthony's. I don't even know if it's still there.
It is, absolutely.
And
it's tough.
Yeah, so I don't think I was an alcoholic, but alcohol really was a problem when I was drinking, with my bipolar disorder. So I've done a lot of speaking around the country about this. When my book first came out before COVID kind of wrecked the speaking opportunities. But the one thing I would always say to people whenever I would do a speaking engagement was, if you only remember one thing today from me, is that if you have bipolar disorder, do not put alcohol in your body, because it is the perfect storm of when you get drunk, you get high off the alcohol, and then the next day you're so depressed it sucks you down into that depressive cycle. And I always tell people, if I had to do everything all over again, I would keep the bipolar, but I would never have started drinking alcohol. And in St. Louis and around the metro area, we started drinking alcohol like end of 8th grade, freshman year of high school, because, I always say we grew up in the city where Budweiser was king, and it was celebrated, and you thought, or at least I thought, it was cool, but it was not cool in retrospect. So alcohol to me for the bipolar mind is just complete poison.
I love hearing that, because I still to this day here at IRC, or if it's at Underground, or anybody just reaches out, and one of the first symptoms that they tell me is that they're depressed, and I'm like, what's the first thing you learn about alcohol is it's actually a depressant.
100%.
So, bipolar and the low end of like what I've heard you describe is what goes up must come down.
Absolutely.
And then you add a depressant to that.
Yeah.
That, I mean, to me, it can be fucking really dangerous and have very bad, tragic consequences if it's untreated.
Yeah, I mean, what you're describing to me, picture a campfire, and the campfire is your bipolar, right? Mm-hmm. And then alcohol is like lighter fluid, and you just spray the alcohol, as the lighter fluid on the fire, and the fire gets bigger. And
which is fun sometimes, because it throws you into that, like I had a therapist. I interrupted you.
You're fine. No, keep going.
I had a therapist. One of the most helpful concepts of bipolar that a therapist gave me once was like a rubber band. Like everything goes just as far in both ways.
Yeah.
And so the drinking makes sense. It's like, yeah, logically depressant. We know we're going to feel like shit for longer than just the next day after.
Oh, yes.
Like,
I always felt like it was 3 days after.
Oh, God, a fucking week. Wow. I can't even, I never enjoyed drinking, but once I put 2 and 2 together, that it's like, this is not how everyone experiences, like, a Saturday night.
A hangover the next day, too, yeah.
To what you were saying, into the campfire analogy, yeah, it's like a reckless fun for a second.
Gretchen.
Right.
There's this my
right.
drunk alter ego, which has come out.
I don't think
I
I've
would
met
say
her.
maybe I could count the times on my one hand, but
I've never met her.
it's when the fire
Thank
gets
God.
really big.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's like I understand why people do it. And when you're depressed, you're not logical. So you're just grasping for anything that would make you feel better, even if you know you're going to feel worse.
People try to make logic out of depression, especially when it gets so bad and people get into self-harm or some ideation or eventual attempts. People that succeed in that attempt, we all try to make logical sense of an illogical condition because it does take out the logic. What age were you depressed in high school? Did you have waves?
Never.
Really?
No, it really didn't hit me because in high school, I was on all these different teams and was very social and very outgoing. And then I think in college, same kind of thing, right? People just, they didn't really view me as bipolar. They just viewed me as like an outgoing person, right? But, and I was actually thinking about this on the drive over, the trigger when things started going the wrong way was when I got out of college, like literally a couple weeks out of college. I moved to Florida to start playing pro golf. And I was away from my support system. I was away from my friends from school. I was away from my family. And that's when my bipolar, I wasn't really drinking at that point, but that's when my bipolar really grabbed me and put me into places that really make up most of the book.
Is that your early 20s?
Yeah, I was 23 when I moved to Fort Myers, Florida. And, I had all these wild, grandiose thoughts. Like I remember calling my mom and telling her that I thought I had cancer, and it was because my grandfather had died from cancer. And then I remember telling my parents that I was going to I was living in Fort Myers, Florida, and I was telling them how I was going to have season tickets to the Lakers in Los Angeles when I never go to Los Angeles. And that just tells you a little bit about bipolar. Like you do these odd, you talk in these odd sentences, you do these odd things. I had a lot of paranoia at that time. Almost feeling like people were watching me through windows, which wasn't true at all.
Sure.
And so my parents came down to Florida at this time. This was like January of 2001, and they brought me to a doctor. And I got in the room just like this with a doctor, and he whipped out this piece of paper, just a regular 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. And he says, "Michael, after talking to your parents, I think you may have bipolar disorder. Here's a list of all the traits." And of course, I'm going through the traits like, well, I got that one. I definitely have that one. I got this one.
Too seen.
Yeah. So luckily, I think a lot of people that are diagnosed with bipolar, they're in denial. They don't want to admit that they have it. Luckily, I knew that I had it, right? But my main struggle in the very beginning for the first really 5 years from, let's say, 2001 to 2006 when I was at rock bottom was I didn't want to take the medicine because I had all this success in high school and college playing golf. And in my mind, I didn't want the medication to affect, my short game or my putting or how I was going to react on the last 9 holes of a tournament because I had enjoyed, doing well and I didn't want to wrinkle anything. But in retrospect, after learning a ton about the medications and the condition, it would have really helped me. Yeah. There was days when I based my amount of medication that I would take on how I played each day. So if I showed up at the golf course and I took the full amount, which
it's the most mental sport there is too, by the way. It is 180% mental, 10% physical. It's insane how
golf?
mental the mental golf is.
Yeah.
To even fun recreational players like me, I can only imagine the level of mental move the bipolar aside.
Right.
That people, when they flippantly throw out the term, they probably describe a lot of golfers because of you as good as your last shot and you're up and you're down. And I can't imagine the mixture and the mind fuck you're going through at this point.
Well, and I think, to be honest, there was also a level of superstition involved with it. Like, so if I showed up at the golf course one day for a tournament, maybe it was a 3-day tournament, if I took the full amount the first day and I played poorly, maybe the next day I would take half the amount. And then the third day, if I didn't play good the second day, maybe I'd take 25% of the amount I'm supposed to take. But if I played good, I would just take the amount that I had taken the day before, right? Because I really didn't understand why I needed to take the full amount, right? I just, in my mind, I kind of thought, well, if I get some of it in my body, then that should help a little. But on the other hand, it was like I said before, like I had all this success when I never took the medication. Some days I wouldn't take it at all. So, I was up and down, and put the golf aside, just like some days, I wouldn't sleep. I didn't sleep at night. There was a time in 2005 when I was living in Maplewood where I can remember, going 3 weeks in a row where I think the most amount of sleep I got in one night was 2 hours, just because not only was I, living with the bipolar, but I was going out. Yeah. We were in our mid-20s, going out in Clayton, going out in the Central West End, going out downtown, scene. Going over to this side of the river, yes, Sir. And some of these places never closed. So
wonder if you met my ex.
Very possible. But, when you're young, you don't have any experience to go off of, so you have to kind of figure it out on your own. And I certainly learned a lot of lessons the hard way. I think from 2001 to 2010, I had 8 or 9 hospital stays. The shortest hospital stay. Shit. Yeah. The shortest hospital stay would have been maybe 2 or 3 days, where the longest was in 2006. I was in there in Barnes Hospital for 33 days.
For what?
Manic episodes.
Whoa.
In their psych unit?
Yes. So at Barnes, the 15th floor is the regular psych unit. But I was so talented with bipolar, there was sometimes when I wound up on the 19th floor, which is the really VIP area.
Oh, boy.
Not too much time up there, but I think 2 stints up there for a day or 2 at a time. But certainly.
Do you have memory of these stays?
Yeah. So
we talked about this at lunch the other day.
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Lunch?
We did last week.
Sorry, it was business.
It was a last minute thing. It was nothing personal.
Should I not tell you I was there?
He was not. He was not.
I was about to lose my shit.
Boys only.
I wouldn't even call it lunch. It was you had a soda and I had a glass.
It was
of
an
water.
afternoon. We haven't seen him.
It's just a greeting.
Keep going.
I lost my train of thought.
Your memory.
Oh, yeah. So okay. So a lot of people will ask me, like, when you have bipolar, do you black out like you do when you're drunk and not remember everything that happened? And the answer is no. I remember. That's why I was able to write the book, because I can remember in detail all the things that happened to me, because unless you are drunk, you're actually super aware.
Too aware.
Yeah.
That's the whole problem.
Yeah, like it's almost like it's like you develop some extra senses somehow.
Oh, boy.
Which is like when it can get really dark.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I had some very strange things happen to me. I mean, I remember in 2006, I had 2 jobs. I was teaching lessons not far from here at Stonewolf Golf Club, and I was also doing broadcasting for the University of Missouri baseball team. And the baseball games were usually on the weekends when I'd be in Columbia or whatever city we were in. But I would always come back to St. Louis on Sunday nights, because Monday morning we'd have golf tournaments for all the PGA section pros around the metro area. And we had a tournament in Annbriar. And this was in the spring, probably right about this time. Yeah.
Lose a lot of balls at Annbriar.
And I had been to Annbriar, 30 or 40 times in my life, but I was so manic driving to the golf course, I got lost. I got so lost that I ran out of gas.
Oh, shit.
And this story is in my book.
Yeah.
There is down there, that driving range down there where like 270 hits 255?
I do.
I don't know the name of it.
Yeah, you can see it right as you're kind of getting into Columbia.
The $5 all you can hit?
Right. So
you go left, you're at Top Shooters. You go right, you're at the...
So I got lost in the neighborhoods close to that range. Still a good 15, 20 minutes from Annbriar,
yeah, because Annbriar's in Waterloo, which is, 15 minutes southeast.
So I ran out of gas in front of that Dairy Queen right on the highway.
Yeah.
And I was so paranoid from the mania that I'm in my car, I'm out of gas, there's cars, flying by going 70 miles an hour. And I felt like more of the paranoia we talked about when I first moved to Florida. I felt like the car was like gonna, collapse in on me. and crush me, right? So
Makes me short of breath just thinking about that.
well, I mean, it was one of those things when you look back on it, it's like, I can't believe that happened. But when you're going through it, it's like it really seems real. And it's funny
like
because,
all-consuming.
oh yeah, and it's your only focus. I mean, I should have been focused on getting gas.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda. It's
Right.
Like you
And
get a
about
choice.
4 or 5, maybe a week before that, I had gone to the Cardinal game and it was bat day. They gave out a wooden bat to all the people.
oh,
right?
that's a great idea.
So I had this bat in my trunk. And so I finally realized I got to get out of this car. This car is going to swallow me. So I go to the trunk, I get the bat out of the trunk, and I absolutely tattooed my car. I mean, tattooed the back windows, the windshield in the front,
shit.
the gas. I kept hitting the gas tank because there was a block where I didn't realize I could just go to a gas station and get gas because I was so out of it, but still alert. You know, it wasn't like I said, it wasn't like I blacked out. And then it was weird. I just bashed up my car. People are driving by watching this.
This is during the day.
Yeah.
It's a busy. That's Route
Oh,
3.
it was on a Monday morning at like 10 a.m. So I do this to the car. For some reason, I put the bat back in the trunk.
Right.
I grab my driver, just my driver, out of my bag, close the trunk, and I walked over to that driving range. It probably took me, 6 or 8 minutes to walk to the driving range that you mentioned that
Yeah,
down
I
there.
mean, that's a walk for sure.
And so I get over there, and I guess the owner could tell. I don't think I had shoes on, and the owner could tell like I was out of sorts. The police came. They
Okay.
brought me to, I don't know if it might have been the Columbia, Illinois police station, and they didn't do anything to me because I hadn't done anything wrong. But I stayed there for a little while, and then I wound up getting a cab back to my house in Maplewood, and then, of course, eventually my parents
I was
learned
gonna
that my
say.
car was there. They had taken the car to like a junk lot, and but the car was, just bashed in.
Like, at what point did you call them, or did they?
No, because I was afraid, of
Sure.
the fact that I'm at a police station. So that's why I think the taxi, this is before Uber. The taxi takes me from Columbia Police Department back to Maplewood. And I remember having to go inside and writing the guy a check because I
Yeah,
think my
does it-
wallet was in the car. So, and then right after that is when I spent the 33 days in the hospital. And, that was probably the lowest situation in retrospect that I went through as far as just complete discombobulation, doing that to my car, just being completely out of sorts. And, luckily in a way that was a turning point because
Sure.
Yeah.
I had during that 33-day stint for whatever reason.
Such a long time in a hospital.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing how it works in inpatient treatment with insurance companies wanting you out ASAP.
Yeah.
I don't. Do they still keep people in psych?
They don't want to. They
Right.
want to keep everybody for 72 hours and keep
It-
filtering them out to make the
right.
money, right?
And we talked about this. Somebody reached out, 26-year-old, untreated BP1, keeps trying to go to the hospital, and they won't admit him because he will not tell them that he's suicidal.
Right. Which
have-
is just ridiculous.
You have to lie and say, I'm going to hurt
Right.
myself or someone else for
Right,
them
to
to
get their
actually
attention.
Yeah. Instead of, I'm here begging for
Yes.
help, and they won't help you. It
Right.
can't.
It's
so
it's
fucked
disgusting.
up. So when you were in for 33 days, what was there group learning? What was the
Yeah, so I learned some things in there. One of the probably the most important thing that I learned that I love that I share. I put this in my book and I share this with everybody is music therapy. So one day this lady shows up and she's got a couple speakers and the old iPod, small iPod, and I said, "What are you doing in here?" She's like, "Well, I'm here to do music therapy." I'm like, "Well, what's that?" She's like, "Well, I'll never forget this." She said, that music is so powerful. It can. Has music ever made the hair on the back of your neck stand up? And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "Well, yeah, that kind of thing helps pull people out of depression," which I totally agree with. So I certainly learned that, but there was a little bit of group therapy, but it was very vanilla because all these hospitals, all they're trying to do is get people in there for that 72-hour window and then get them out so they can get more and more people. So the learning isn't very extensive. But the reason that stay was such a turning point for me was because, for whatever reason, when people have bipolar manic episodes and bipolar depressive episodes and depressive cycles, you don't want to listen to your family. It's weird. It's just because your family certainly has your best interests on hand, but I didn't really want to listen to my parents and my brother and sister at that point. And when I was in there for that 33-day stay, I had 2 groups of my friends come visit me. I had 4 guys come like on a Monday and a different 4 guys come on Tuesday, and they all said the same thing. They said, listen, we want you in our life, but if you don't take your because at this point I wasn't taking my medicine regularly, if at all. But if you don't take your medicine, we can't be in your life. Like, we're not doing it.
There's so many parallels to conversations with people struggling with SUD, the disease of addiction. Listen to any of my family members, and I get that. And then that type of boundary is very important for the loved one you have that is continuing to use or drink or spiral. It's so,
or like not take their medication. Like, it's like
I completely recognize that language and that love and therapeutic approach, if you will, from a family and a support system. It's the same thing we teach at Al-Anon or group learning of loved ones of addicts. Go ahead.
How did it feel?
How did what feel?
Like when you're friends back to back.
Well, first of all, when you're in the hospital like that, it's great to see your friends.
Right.
Because you don't really know anybody in there, and it's not the most pleasant
Not
situation.
there to make friends.
But what it really did for me that was beneficial was it was almost like it was like a bargaining tool, right? Like I definitely wanted all 8 of these guys in my life moving forward.
Sure.
So even though I should have started taking the medicine for myself and for my family, but I was really, after I got out of the hospital, I was extremely diligent about taking the medicine every day. I mean, the only episodes I had after 2006 were trouble from alcohol and a couple of just kind of misnomers, anomalies that happened. I had a Pedialyte situation that was weird. I can share that too, but Pedialyte flushed out my system and flushed out the effects of the medication.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was very, very bizarre. And I'll get to that, but these guys, these are guys, some of them I knew from grade school, some of them I knew from high school, and some of them I knew from college, and some of them came from out of town to see me.
Those are lifers.
Yeah. So when they sat me down or when they showed up there, that made me realize how important it was to take the medicine every single day. And like I said, since then, I've been really, really good about it. And you said something earlier that got my attention. You mentioned sodium, right? So the medication I take is lithium.
Yeah.
I take extended release lithium, and lithium is a natural salt that metabolizes very easily in the body. And it's really the oldest bipolar drug out there, right? Like, I refer to it as like the Budweiser of all bipolar medications, right? But like you mentioned, Lamictal. I tried Depakote for a little bit. That made me vomit. And sure enough, I just tried it basically only because I wanted to try something different. This is like in 2000, maybe, 7 or 8. And so I tried Depakote for like a couple days, and my doctor said, all right, if you're going to take Depakote, you got to eat something before. And I remember eating Burger King, taking the Depakote and throwing it up like within 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
So I went to
my doctor prank me like that?
Well, I went to the doctor and I said, Doc, I want to try this, but I throw up each time. So he pulls out this journal, and sure enough, 10% of people that take Depakote
no way
have induced vomiting from that drug. So I just went back to the lithium because he liked lithium. He's retired now, but he was world renowned. He was from WashU and Barnes Hospital, and he would go around the world talking about the science of well-being, and just a brilliant man. And he always tried to tell me that lithium he felt like was the best.
That's what I've heard. Gold
drug.
Standard. And they use it all around the world. And the only reason they don't use it as often here is because it's not as profitable.
Correct. Yes, it's the cheapest as well.
Imagine
the best
that.
is the cheapest.
Most accessible, cheapest, most reliable for
My
years and years.
Go figure.
My experience with lithium is on The Sopranos season 1. Tony took it and had hallucinations You don't know this because you've never watched it.
No,
I've never seen an episode.
oh, it's good.
The Cusamanos had the Italian exchange student over, Isabella, and Tony was getting hard on for her, and then found out she was not real. And Dr. Melfi said, discontinue the lithium. Immediately, he flushed it. That's my only experience with lithium. But
No, I mean, I can only speak from my experience with the lithium. It's been wonderful.
And-
I mean, it's helped me tenfold.
in fairness, Tony, my hero, just had depression, not bipolar. But
You think Tony Soprano wasn't a manic depressive?
manic, maybe a little bit, but he wasn't bipolar. But anyway, he may have been one of the few percent that had that. But lithium, I have heard like it is, to what you guys are saying, the gold standard for
Right.
for bipolar. The question I have about medicine, because I've heard this before, is that some of the bipolar medications can make you feel gray. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Totally.
And-
you stretch the rubber band less.
Sure. So the people the people I know that happen to have gotten themselves started using drugs and meth to self-medicate, and because their first round with bipolar meds, I don't know what kind they were, it just didn't hit. It made them feel like a zombie, like not themselves. So
Right.
they didn't want to take it, so they stopped taking it, and then they went to self-medicating afterwards. So if they were really down, they would do coke that didn't do
Right.
enough, and then they'd graduate
Sure.
to
Ritalin, Adderall,
or Adderall
you
that
name
didn't
it.
do enough, or be too expensive. They couldn't get it on the street, so they started using meth, and next thing you know, their lives are wrecked.
Well, and one of the things that happens, at least, that because, like I said, I've done all this coaching, and I've had a lot of people ask me about medications. Lamictal, Latuda, Vraylar, lithium. Now, lithium, like you said, is the cheapest, and for me, it's been the most effective. But these other drugs, these doctors get in bed with these drug companies, and I know people that have tried to get their hands on lithium, but because the doctor won't make enough money off it, they kind of
Push the others.
exactly.
Yeah.
They push now. I know I've heard good things about Vraylar. I know.
I hear their commercial.
Yeah.
Vraylar- so
Vraylar.
They must be making pretty good on Vraylar.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing I think about medications is if you have bipolar and you want to try a medication, you have to be willing to try a medication for about 3 weeks' time to see if it agrees
At
with you.
least. At
Okay.
least.
Yeah. Now, if it doesn't, you have to be willing to try something else. But a lot of people they're afraid to try the first one, But, I feel like if you're going to try to get well, you need to be willing to experiment with these drugs to find out what agrees with your system. Because,
100%.
Vraylar might work with your system, but it might not work with mine. Latuda might work for you, but it might not work for me. Like Depakote's a perfect example. Depakote's a very well-known bipolar helper, but it didn't work with my system. So if you're going to go the whole way and try to find a medication that works, and I certainly endorse taking medication as opposed to not taking medication, you have to be willing to test and try.
Totally agree with that. And we talk about that a lot with just psychotropics, whether same thing for the Wellbutrins or Prozacs.
Yeah.
And the key is trying it and not giving up, because the first med might not work. But to your point, you got to give it. And I think like Wellbutrin, Prozac, they say
Prozac
month
is
or 2
4
months.
to 6 months.
Yeah, you got to give it the college try.
I'm glad you brought up Wellbutrin. I'm going to share a story. So one time I went into my doctor's office in the wintertime, probably like 03, 04, 05 maybe, and I was depressed. And I went to my doctor. That's okay.
This is perfect.
This is it.
This is her alarm to take her medicine.
Oh, okay.
We're going to
Great.
get that sponsored.
That's great.
Sponsored by Vraylar.
So I went into my doctor because I was depressed, and I said, Doc, I want to try Wellbutrin because I've heard good things about it. He said, Michael, I can't give you Wellbutrin. I said, well, why not? He goes, because it's an antidepressant, right? And if you have bipolar, an antidepressant can spike mania. So,
Interesting.
people get confused when talking about antidepressants because they think that, okay, well, I'm going to take this pill and all of a sudden I'm going to feel better, right? Well, if you have bipolar, my issues with bipolar were much more on the manic side than the depressed side. I've certainly felt both, right?
Okay.
But mania was definitely my bugaboo. I mean, I definitely had more trouble with the mania. So he didn't want to put me in a situation because that antidepressant will get you up, but it could bring you too far up.
Sure.
Right. So when people ask me, well, what should I do if I have bipolar and I can't take an antidepressant? Well, you go exercise and you
Right.
hydrate and you sleep and
Yeah.
you do cold
Sleep,
plunge and
sleep,
massage
sleep.
and
And
there's
I've heard
so many
you,
things.
since I've known you, talk about all those things, even in addition to the medicine, that those are really important
Yeah.
keys. Like when you coach, and some people I know that you've helped personally, those have always been clubs in your bag, to use a golf analogy.
Well done. I mean, the two biggest staples
That's a good one.
that I use when I'm coaching somebody, and I still use them to this day, is I exercise first thing in the morning, because those endorphins that get in your body early, they're in there the whole day. And I know that if I don't have enough time to exercise in the morning, I'm going to feel a little bit off during the course of the day, right? Now, the other key thing that I found, and I found this ironically this is pretty funny, at the beginning of COVID, probably in COVID hit March of 2020.
Yeah.
In January, I started keeping a gratitude journal.
Oh.
Okay.
Amen.
So this is how I do my gratitude journal, and I've shared this with many people, and it worked for me, like, in a way that I didn't think was possible. So all you do is you go to Walgreens or CVS and you buy a notebook. It's $3. Okay. You buy a pen. It's $2. Okay. And then each time you do an entry in the gratitude journal, you fill up the entire page. I'm grateful for my car.
Sure.
I'm grateful for my job. I'm grateful for my girlfriend or boyfriend. All these little, like, I work
Fills
with,
up pretty quick too.
of
once you
course,
start.
like, I work with a lot of veterans that are amputees. Like, I'm grateful for my arms. I'm grateful for my legs. Things that you don't really realize that you should be grateful for, right? And so I started doing this every single day, like at the beginning of January 2020, right? And so I did it every single day until St. Patrick's Day, when COVID hit. And the whole world is flipping out. And I had never been in a better position in my life.
You're like, have you guys tried a gratitude journal?
Right. Well, now, the reason that I kind of figured this out, or how it came about, is I was reading this book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. You guys have probably heard of it. Great book, right? Well, there's a term in this book called autosuggestion, right? And autosuggestion is the gratitude journal. What autosuggestion means is, if you continue to repeat all of these things, you shape your mind from a place of things that are missing to all the things that you should be grateful for and that you have. Even the little things.
Abundance, man.
Yeah, like I would put, like, I'm grateful for emos.
Sure.
Or, I'm grateful for TMA. Just because, when I'm on the road, like, I listen to the show and it makes me laugh.
Yeah, true.
So
I offer Ashley up to him on the reg.
yeah, the gratitude journal
Tell
is...
me that.
I know. It's always a big defender of Ash.
Well, it's understandable. But the gratitude journal is super powerful, but you have to do it like 2 months in a row, 3 months in a row. And I still do it to this day. But at that time, man, I had done, 60 to 80 days in a row, and the world was ending, of course, according to everybody. And I had never been in a better
year to
place
year.
mentally. Yes. Like, it was crazy.
I subscribe to that.
Yeah, like, not a coincidence either.
Yeah.
Like, for sure.
It's a complete reframe of perspective. And I want to get to the veterans in a second, but I think I've learned this, speaking of Ashley, because she's battled depression, and we've always had a gratitude journal on the counter, the bar top. And then we have, a notes app, and when she's feeling the lowest, she hammers her gratitude journal, and it, like, kind of steps her out of the
Absolutely,
valley,
it
man.
does.
I mean, I got my mom through cancer and an abusive marriage. That's what she said. All day, every day, she would stand at the kitchen sink, look out on the back window, do the dishes, and just say everything she was grateful for till she couldn't move her hands anymore. Like,
Yeah.
it is so simple, so free to do.
Your mind is programmed just to survive, right? The journal helps your mind thrive, right? Because you start taking your eyes off, what am I missing in life? Why don't I have the job I want? Why don't I have the relationship I want? Well, there's actually a lot of things out there that you do have that you don't realize are very, very good.
Well, especially like with bipolar, it's like the nervous system being so hyper aware of a possible threat. Like, reminding yourself through, like, you're reading it, you're seeing it, you're writing it.
Yes.
I am safe. I am safe. I am safe.
Yes.
Like, that is how you change your brain. Like,
Yeah, and one of the things I would do, a friend of mine who's a very smart man, he gave me an idea that I added to the gratitude journal in addition to saying, I'm grateful for X, whatever it might be. I would have a line every so often, every fifth or sixth line, I would put, I have clarity. And, if you write these things down enough,
Sure.
your brain just shifts.
Right.
And it's really, really cool. And it's not like you need to take a pill to do it. It's not expensive.
No.
It's easy.
Yeah, I even think you were airing high on the $5
Right.
for the notebook and pencil.
Yeah.
I
mean,
people will give that to you
when
if you really
when
don't.
people will reach out and I end up coaching them or trying to just it's like giving a golf lesson. You just point them in the right direction, and almost every single time somebody will say, "Well, the journal has been life changing." I'm like, I know, like it is, and it's so easy. But you have to have some
Once you
discipline.
start, I guess.
Yeah, you got to get into a rhythm and a routine, but the discipline to do it is what really makes it work.
And as you're talking, I'm thinking about how I have a couple practices, and I'm gonna re-engage. I'm feeling pretty good right now, but I need to be grateful for that and re-engage in my gratitude journal. So I think
You have to be grateful for yourself too. There are a lot of parts about yourself that you have to.
thank you.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
and you just said it. You just said thank you, right? Like the journal is the journal, but like I will just look for opportunities to say thank you because it's a way of life. It's a mindset. It's an approach that you need to have to keep depression away
Sure.
and anxiety as well.
And I mean, the funny thing is so many people uncorroborated have come on here, or I've met them in a different setting. Ashley, you have all said this, and it's all worked for them. Nobody's swung and missed on this gratitude exercise improving their mental health.
Well, yeah, and like to disclaimer out there, it can work for some people without medication, and also is the best supplement to medication. Like, I think what you said about like the discipline and like once you like forming habits, routines, and like the drive to work out every morning, right? That is a muscle that you exercised, and like my like bipolar 2, mostly just very low brain. It's like I can't even make myself get out of bed to go to the bathroom sometimes.
Poor
like,
Kim.
Well, Kim doesn't like to get out of bed either. She's fine.
That's her dog.
That's my dog.
Okay.
Sleeps under the covers, burrows. It's a whole thing. And so it's like, like finding out what works for you, because it's going to be a lot of different things. But I think gratitude is one of the only things for sure for everyone.
Well, and usually whether you have bipolar or you're addicted to alcohol or drugs, whatever, you can get addicted to both exercise and doing the journal.
Right.
Like the other thing about the journal that's so good is that when you finish doing it, I think there's 27 or 28 lines on a piece of loose leaf paper in a notebook. The sense of accomplishment when you finish doing it is awesome. So like my routine when I'm home in St. Louis and when I'm home in Florida, my routine is I'm up at 5:36. I go work out for an hour, maybe 120 minutes, whatever, or 80 minutes, hour and 20 minutes. And then I'll come home, take a quick shower, and then this is going to sound ridiculous, but I lay on the floor, on the carpet, and I do my journal, while I'm laying on the floor. And then as soon as I get finished with the workout and the journal, like I can start my day. And it's just a wonderful baseline to get things going.
Yeah.
When I'm trying to think when I stopped, but getting out of treatment, and I still have a tote, and they may be in there. They actually might be in there. I have a tote of their notebooks, but those old composition, not wide ruled, the black and white marbly. They hand them to you in maybe kindergarten and shit. But I wrote every day in it, and I wrote my schedule, my tasks, some notes of gratitude, and I could not for about I think 8+ years start my day. That was my routine in recovery. It was
Structure.
yeah, it was so important for me. And we've talked about this to do that writing exercise. I need to lean a little bit more into the gym stuff. Personally,
That's for later.
Sure.
Do the notebook thing now. That would help.
Start easy.
There is no better thing than endorphins. I mean, there's nothing like it.
I tell Ashley that every morning.
I'm
If you
screaming.
put
Stop.
out- if you put out.
Stop.
But I mean, I think I can confidently say that I'm addicted to the feeling I get when I'm leaving the gym.
Yeah.
Well, also,
Sure.
like I said a minute ago, the sense of accomplishment for completing that workout. But once you work out and those endorphins are flowing, you're like, man, this is what I want to feel like.
It's so interesting. I've been through like gym phases, and I think it was before I was medicated and when I was feeling a lot of rage. Was fleeting rage is what I called it, to like excuse the way I was not
I'm familiar with that.
not
Yeah.
regulating myself. But now I'll go into a gym and it's like I have to time it with the medicine. It's like almost a little overstimulating. It's like the exercise I can tell helps, but the going there, the seeing all the people, it's like almost counterproductive. And so you don't have to go to the gym.
Totally agree. And I was gonna
functional
comment on that. So
workouts. Play with your plants
when
outside.
I'm in St. Louis, I go to a local high school and I run the stairs and I
Totally.
walk and I do a bunch of like calisthenics.
Okay.
I don't lift weights.
I was going to
Right.
ask what going to the gym looked like for you.
Yeah, so when I'm in Florida, I'll go to the gym and I'll do, just because I live really close to one, and I'll do some light lifting and I'll still do the calisthenics and I'll still walk, and I do that indoors. But in St. Louis, I go to the local high school in the morning and I do the stairs and I walk and I do all these calisthenics and I try to do it outside.
That's what
because I think
yeah.
that's probably your best environment,
Because- yeah.
but doing it, whether you do it inside or outside, just getting it done is pivotal.
And like just moving your body. Like
Yes. Could
when-
be just walking.
It's that. Like I spend Kim, my dog, boxer pit bull mix. We go outside in the backyard. We literally run around. But it's
Yes.
moving
Sure.
moving your body, you're outside, you're interacting with another thing that you love.
You're a gym rat.
I am,
Kurt loves the gym.
You're the silver fox, 6-foot silver fox from the gym.
allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can feel it the days I don't go, no doubt about it.
100%.
And I think a lot of people would say you need days off, and
Yeah, rest. is
but
key.
even on those rest days, I can feel it, and I just don't quite feel right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why I don't lift real heavy anymore. Not that I really lifted heavy in the past, but just something to get the day going. Some days are the workout's stronger than others, but just get a sweat going, get those endorphins popping, and that just sets the tone for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
You're on the road a lot.
You think?
For work.
Well,
Do you think so?
What do you do differently to implement routine there?
Yeah,
To
good
me,
question.
Walking, how many holes are you walking a week?
Oh, I mean, when I'm with caddying, I mean, it's, we have at least 3 rounds. So that's, 6-ish miles a day carrying the bag. So that's great. But whenever we go to a new city, if we stay in an Airbnb, I will figure out
You fire
outside
up the app,
in
the dating app.
True. But in addition to that,
You got it.
in the area around the Airbnb house, I will figure out where I'm going to do my walking and where I'm going to do my calisthenics. Now, if we stay in a hotel, most hotels have a
Yeah.
gym, so I can knock it out in the hotel gym. But yes, I'm lucky because my job makes me walk at least 18 miles a week, carrying 40 to 45
Sure.
pounds. So I'm lucky that the fitness aspect is part of what I do, and I really like that aspect of it. But I will always kind of map out, once I get to a city and where we're staying, like where am I going to get my work in?
you have to do that like manually though. Like you know your body enough to know that if you don't do this, it's going to be bad and you won't be able to deliver on your other things. Like,
Correct.
You have to know your own body.
You know, or at least I know that if I get up early each day, no matter where I am, and I get that workout in, my performance in everything I do that day is going to be better than if I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And you also, like KG was saying, on the days that you don't get it in, you can kind of feel, I mean, I hate to use this term, but it's true. Like you can feel your skin crawling a little bit because your body, or at least my body now, is so addicted to the endorphins and the exercise that if I miss it, I can feel it.
Sure.
It's kind of crazy how in touch with your body you can get if you get into a routine.
Believe it or not, I didn't always look this good. I used to be I played hockey 8 days a week, and if I missed a skate, that's where I was at. I just, for some reason, haven't been able to translate. I mean, I'm not in the Hall of Fame like Big Walt.
Sorry.
But, when I stopped skating, I blew up a little bit. And so did Big Walt, if you've seen a picture of him lately. God bless him. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I have 2 questions. Or like 2 topics.
Shoot.
So I'm interested in your perspective about the difference between bipolar and males versus females, which we're inclusive on this podcast. It's just
So we make sure of it.
body is different and it affects like ADHD like a lot. So anyway, just wanted to pick your brain on that. And then also how bipolar has affected your relationships, like friendships and stuff, but also like dating and stuff. Like you're a full human. Like I want to know your wisdom.
Yeah, I mean, I'll answer the second question first. Everyone that I'm friends with knows my medical history. And, I'm lucky because I have this wonderful group of people that, for lack of a better term, they've kept an eye on me to make sure that I'm okay. Now, I'm lucky. I haven't had an episode since 2019, which is, for me, that was a long time. I mean, I was averaging an episode every 2 years or every year and a half there for almost 10 years. Wow. So, many people, friends of mine, will ask me if I haven't seen them in a while and they know my history, which most of them do. They'll be like, hey, how's your health? How are things going? And I always say, I appreciate you asking, things have been good.
It never gets old?
No, because,
Great.
well, you also want people to know that you are taking the steps to take care of yourself.
Sure.
Because, a lot of times people that have mental illness, they aren't accountable. The mental illness, makes you blame other things, right? I didn't have a chance to work out, or I missed my medication, or whatever the excuse would be, right?
It's huge right here, and it's a big shift. When people start to get it in detox and get it in residential treatment is when they stop the blame game and they start taking back accountability,
right.
Which is a liberating thing to do. It's not a shot. It's liberating to say, starting today, I'm accountable and moving forward. It's a serenity prayer, right?
Yeah, I think what you're getting at is, and a friend of mine from Chicago told me this one time. He said, for a lot of years I was pointing fingers at other people when I had drinking problems or whatever, but I really needed to point the thumbs at myself.
Yes.
Luke
and
7,
I thought,
baby. Stake in your own eye.
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect way to explain it. And once you can become accountable for your own behavior and your own health, then you really have a chance to be healthy. But if you're blaming everything on other people, like, well, your mom didn't do this, and your girlfriend didn't do this, and your husband didn't do this, well, that's not accountability. That's trying to lay the blame on somebody else, it's counterproductive. It's no good.
And counterintuitive, because the shame and blame game is all about like what those people did, what those people did, what those people did, and it's like
Bingo.
This is about you, and
yes.
The whole point is that you feel out of control.
Yeah.
You have complete access to control.
Yeah, I mean, to answer your question about relationships or people that I've dated, like, I don't know if the bipolar has really been a thorn in the sides of the relationships. I
Really?
just think, yeah, I mean.
Good for you.
Well, I mean, like I said, most people know, the people that I dated. I mean, a lot of times if I date somebody, like, I got to tell them right away that I have it so they know. But your question about male versus female with bipolar, I think it's fair to say that it's probably a bit more intense for women because of the emotions that go along with a woman's time of the month. Well, I've learned a lot the last couple of years about, is it perimenopause?
Oh, God, fuck my life. It's Ashley.
Here we go.
Yeah.
And so I think that, like, if you have that,
It's so hard.
let's say you have menopause or perimenopause and you don't even have a mental illness, like, that's a challenge in itself,
Oh my
right?
God, yeah.
Ashley told me I wouldn't make it 1 hour as a female.
No, you
true.
wouldn't.
Not one
No chance.
fucking hour.
Yeah. But I mean, imagine having those things to deal with, perimenopause, menopause, the time of the month thing, and bipolar, which is a roller coaster in itself. I mean, I think that's a bigger hill to climb. I think guys are a lot luckier to not have to deal with those kind of things. But at the same time, like, let's say you're married to somebody that has bipolar and is going through a menopause stage. You know, if you're around people enough, I think their behavior and what they're going through is going to kind of stack on top of you as well, especially if you're in a relationship or a marriage where you want your partner to be well and you want to help them, but sometimes the behavior can override. It can I guess affect both of you almost in the same way, even if the other person doesn't have it.
No, totally.
So, I mean, I think women have a bigger challenge for sure.
Did you say you haven't had an episode since 2019?
2019 was my last episode.
What kind of things, like physiologically, could you feel it coming where you could kind of see the wave and before it hit, or was it all at once?
So I'm glad you asked that, because this is the story of the Pedialyte.
Oh, perfect segue. Great
So
job, Kurt.
what happened was I had been caddying for Chris Nagel in 2018. He had done really well, but I felt like I wanted to...
U.S. Open that year, didn't he?
Correct. And I felt like I wanted to start playing again. I was going to not caddy for Chris, and I was going to start competing again. And so I started at the very end of 18, the beginning of 19. I started practicing. I started playing some mini tour events in Florida.
So you're talking more competitive than like the Dotem or the Fan Page Club
Slightly.
Championship?
I mean, it's similar, but not exactly the same. And what had happened was I really started focusing on hydration and getting fit and just getting myself in as good a shape as I could. So I stopped drinking soda, stopped drinking Gatorade. I was only drinking water and Pedialyte. I was trying to hydrate at the highest level I could. Well, I played all December and all January, all of December and probably half of January. And I was playing pretty good, and I had made arrangements to take a flight from Florida out to LA to try to qualify for, at the time you could qualify for Riviera, like in a Monday qualifier. And one of my problems with bipolar was when I would become manic, even though I could remember everything, it was a bit of a blind spot. I couldn't tell that I was manic, right?
Interesting.
So my dad showed up in Florida because he had heard about my behavior being erratic from people in my support system that were in Florida. And when my dad would show up anywhere, I knew, I was like, oh, fuck. Now I must be manic again, right? Well,
That became a pattern.
I had definitely shifted into mania, right? But I couldn't tell because, I was feeling like I was super productive. I was eating well. I was only drinking water and Pedialyte. I was playing good. And so in my mind, like I was really doing well, right? Well, he shows up and he's like, you haven't been taking your medicine. Because in the past, when like from 01 to 06, I wasn't taking my medicine. And I'm like, I have been taking my medicine. You can go to Walgreens and see that I've been picking up the meds once every month. And I was. But the problem was I was drinking so much Pedialyte and so much water. When I would take the medicine, I used to take it all in the morning. Now I take it in the morning and at night.
Yes and amen, double dose.
Right. But the problem
That's a 6 o'clock alarm.
The problem that I ran into was that when I was drinking the Pedialyte and all the water, since I was taking all the medicine in the morning, I was flushing it all out by noon. Right.
No kidding.
With bipolar medicine, it's not like SSRI is up here in the brain. You can test the bipolar medication levels in your body by getting like blood work done. Like it's
correct.
It is
Really?
in your body in a different way. So I've never heard of.
You can get a blood test to find out if your blood is at a therapeutic level, which I did many times from 01 to 06. My parents kind of made me go get a test. So
it's interesting. I've never heard of like flushing out like a
I hadn't
Prozac.
either. So I went to my doctor, right? The guy that I told you guys about who was at WashU and Barnes, and I said, Doc, my family doesn't think I've been taking my medicine. I have been. He's like, well, what have you been eating? And I told him what I've been eating. He's like, what have you been drinking? And I told him, and he was like, that's why.
There it is. Red
He's
flag.
like, you just flushed everything out of your system. So I think at that point I had to do like maybe like a 6-day stay in a hospital in West Palm Beach. In fact, it was when the Patriots beat the Rams, real low scoring game. I forget what Super Bowl that was, but I remember watching that Super Bowl in the mental ward. So, and then after that, I kind of, and maybe people should hear this.
Yeah.
I decided then that I was never going to have an episode again. I was going to do everything that I could because I was just tired of being in hospitals. And it's funny, every time I do the journal, my gratitude journal, my first line on every page is, I'm grateful that I'm not in a hospital today. Because the hospital sucks.
Oh, God.
The food sucks. The people are sketchy at best. So yeah, that was my last one, and that's how it came about. But like, I could never tell. It was definitely a blind spot, like when I would dip into mania.
Yeah, that's so. When 6 days. So I'm still like, when you went 6 days, it's medicine? Are you trying to rest? What are they doing to?
Yeah, they're making sure you get your meds in.
Okay,
you're trying to get, and they'll give you a blood test there to make sure it's at a therapeutic level. But really, it's like just maintenance.
Yeah.
You know, they're giving you 3 square meals a day, even though the food's trash. And then they're, you know, and someone with my history, I guess they're more apt to keep you in there a little bit longer. Because like I said, they're just trying to get most people in and out of there in 72 hours because that's the law. But I had signed a, what is it called?
Affidavit or?
A guardianship.
Oh.
So when I had my last episode in 06, or the last episode I had in 06.
The 33-day stay.
Right. Our lawyer, my parents' lawyer, who is a close family friend who I've known since I was a kid, he said, okay, what do you think about signing this guardianship? And at the time, I was like, yeah, I'll do whatever. And I'm glad that I did.
Sure.
But what that does is that guardianship allows the people who are on the guardianship to keep you in the hospital as long as they want, not as long as the hospital wants.
And here's the problem with some people. You'd said it earlier that some serious mental health conditions, including the disease of addiction, when it's at its highest or lowest, removes accountability, and you can't, like, nobody would ever sign that. Like, it would take a lot to.
Most people won't sign a guardianship.
Right, to be that.
I'm sure I'm in the minority.
You are big time, because I've had to try to get people and work with people that want their loved one admitted to psych or a treatment, and you just can't do it. It's so and that leads, you've had to sign. The last person that I had a hand in getting admitted to a psych unit, I had to sign, and 3 other people had to sign affidavits that that person threatened to take their own life, and you had to sign an affidavit as to it. And he or she, I don't want to, ended up in the psych ward, which actually was just the emergency room at the hospital because the floor was full.
Oh, yeah. Most floors are full.
So you just take an ER bed.
Yeah.
And it's ineffective, to say the least.
Well, it's reactive. It's like, it's Western medicine. It's not proactive. It's not. Because even like when, like an inpatient I feel bad like calling it like a psych ward, but like.
Well, that's what it is.
It's like a lot of structure and support, like already instilled. But when you leave the psych ward, are they like explaining to you like why it was important to be here, like what was helpful about being here, and how to do it in your own life when you leave? Or is it like,
that's where the U's come in, the social workers? They're supposed to, I mean, right, at each psych there's social workers that. But one of the things that I've noticed with severe, like, paranoid schizophrenia and delusional schizophrenia is if they make it to a psych ward, then there's some forced medication. But a lot of them don't want to take the medication because their reality is their reality, and we aren't sitting here. And if you don't play into it a little bit, it's tough. It's why there's a Skid Row. We don't know. It's why there's people that are, because we just haven't, it's such a crisis out there so to your gratitude journal, I mean, grateful every day that mental health is a gift.
Yeah. Good mental health is a
right.
very big gift.
And you've seen it and felt it on all spectrums. I get a tinge, and I tell this to Ashley, like a tinge of that in my stomach, deep, like depression, and it's fleeting. And the thought of that being, for someone with chronic depression, more than an hour, and it's days, is where it humbles me, and it makes me really empathetic, because that tinge of it, getting out of bed is a victory. Just getting out of the fucking bed. And I've heard you mention it earlier, like it's it is hard, and people don't understand it. They try to make logic of it.
Well, and that's very common. Like when I had my first episode in 01, serious mania, was in Florida. Parents brought me back to St. Louis. Every bipolar manic episode is followed by a depressive cycle, which you probably know.
Awesome.
But one of the things that I experienced, just what you're talking about, when I first got back to St. Louis, it was like February. It was cold, crappy out, and I had trouble getting out of bed, right? So I remember for the first 3 days, I literally had to roll out of the bed onto the floor. And then eventually I got myself to walk around the neighborhood. Then after another 4 or 5 days, jog around the neighborhood. And that's why I think exercise is so important. It just can pull you out of the doldrums of depression, right? But the thing that I think people need to understand and learn is if you struggle with mental illness or addiction, like you have to be willing to work to get out of it. You can't. It's not something you can be lazy about, and because if you're lazy, you won't get anything done. And I think until people, another thing that my doctor said that was very brilliant one time was like, if someone wants to get well, they have to decide to do it. Like the support system can root you on and tell you, hey, we're behind you, but you have to do the work. And it's not, sometimes it's ugly and it's tough and you got to grind and push yourself, but that's what it takes.
Yeah.
And it
to
is
know
worth
that
it.
There's like something better on the other side.
Absolutely.
That you wouldn't have known about because you didn't have the motivate or like the tools before. Were you going to say something?
No, I'm waiting for you.
You look like you're going to say something.
Yeah. Fire.
Okay. So I am curious about the competitive, how you are doing that. So it sounds like you growing up, there was a lot of sports, so there was a lot of movement, a lot of structure, a lot of support systems.
Correct.
And so that was like something that's kind of built into you as like,
Definitely.
What would you suggest for someone who, it's like.
Who didn't play sports or anything like that?
Yeah, someone who's just like used to like the everyday, like, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, that's. I'm glad you brought that up because the way I look at it, or when I decided to, in 2006, when I had my friends visit me and I decided, hey, I've got to be better. I got to take my meds. There's a lot of other things I need to do to get well, right? I started viewing it as a game or a match. And
I was just thinking
it could be like, if someone doesn't play sports, whatever, it could be like any sort of game they played as a kid or like a board game. Like, the way I viewed it was, okay, each day I'm going to have a game or a match against bipolar. And what things do I need to do each day to win, right? And for me, it's you wake up early, you exercise, you do the journal. If you have an opportunity to
Don't drink.
Yeah, no alcohol forever. I haven't had a drink in 14 years.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
That's amazing.
Because it's just poison for the bipolar brain.
Well, for every brain. Also, it tastes like shit.
True.
I don't know why people. Sorry, that's an ableist
My
comment.
my mouth waters at the thought of the first one, but then I go to that campfire.
Yeah, and
Real
that's a
quickly,
real
maybe.
thing. But I mean, each person has to find out what are the steps that they need to do to win that game every day.
That doesn't stress you out at all? Every day
No.
is a fucking competition against your own self?
Yeah, because I know if I do those things, I'm going to feel good.
What if
The
you
payoff
can't-
is worth so much more than the work. The feeling of accomplishing all those things you need to do in a day to feel good, that kind of excites me.
Well, yes. Okay, so I hear that. I think something that I struggle with is like every priority, it's like I'm looking at a whiteboard and like all these things I need to do. So like my success algorithm for my bipolar, like yes, those things. And then there's just so many other things like responsibilities of work and like I need to go.
Okay, I know where you're going.
Okay.
Let me help you.
Please,
you have
thank
got
you.
you have got to set aside time each day. It could be a half an hour. It could be 3 hours to work on yourself.
Oh.
It's about time management and discipline.
Oh God.
I mean,
2 executive functions that I just
Well,
simply.
tell me about
So what are I guess I don't know your experience with ADHD, but
I'm thinking of the list Ashley sent me.
yeah, well, and it's those things. It's like because it's like I know the bipolar. I know that I need to do these things, and then it's like the executive functions of like the concept of time or like intrinsic motivation or like things like that are like, oh my God. So now it's like less of I'm competing against my bipolar. It's like I'm on the losing team and all these bitches are competing against me.
Let me ask you, do you consider yourself having a co-occurring bipolar and ADHD? Would that be considered like co-occurring?
I think
Probably.
I would think
comorbidity
so.
rates. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got to be. Well, and that's why I'm like, is it all these things or is it like my nervous system is shot from growing up in a place where I didn't know if I was safe or not, you know?
A utopia of a childhood.
Screaming. Well, but
Capital T trauma throughout her whole life. Shout out Denny.
But all of that to say, well, now I forgot. Yeah, ADHD.
Well,
I'll leave it
to
there.
me, and then this is just the dumb, naive brain, but you're kind of with fighting a 2-front war. If this helps with you're that helps bipolar, but the ADHD is trying to flank you a little bit.
Well, right.
It could be a different combination of tools, but the self-care stuff, it has to be a priority, I think, for anybody, but especially people that are fighting harder than the guy that doesn't or gal that doesn't have bipolar ADHD.
Well, it has to be, you have to find the things that work for you. Like we've mentioned the journal, we've mentioned exercise. Some people take Pilates class. Some people take a spinning class. I mean, one of the things that I found, and I mentioned it earlier, was transcendental meditation.
Yeah, what's that?
So it's just it's a specific form of meditation. So in 2008 or 9, I was on a panel, a speaking panel in Chicago. And I was sitting next to this guy. His father is a really well-known kind of tycoon. His father's name is Ray Dalio. Well, this guy, his son, who I was sitting next to on the panel, he did a movie about bipolar disorder that Katie Holmes was in. And I can't remember the name of the movie, but I'm sure we
The
could
Gift?
look it up on the Google. No,
That's where she showed her tits.
no, I don't think it was that.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting next to him on this panel and somebody else was talking. And I said, hey man, he had bipolar. Everybody on the panel had bipolar. And I said, what do you do? What's the one tool that you use the most for your bipolar? And he said, without a doubt, transcendental meditation. And I had never heard of it.
Just like right, I was.
It was on the tip of his tongue. So
I love that. You know it works when they're like excited to share.
So I'll tell you a story. It's pretty interesting. So I came back to St. Louis after that, and they teach transcendental meditation all over the country that you can go, and it's not expensive. And it's funny, they will work with you if you don't have a big budget. Like, most people, I think the standard cost is like $1,100 for like 4 classes, but I think I was able to do it for like $500, whatever the price was. But that's neither here nor there because it's really effective. So I take this class from this woman in South County in St. Louis, and I learn the technique. And I can't teach it to Chris, and I can't teach anybody. You have to take the class out of respect for the practice, right?
Yeah.
So this really happened to me, which was incredible. So I take the class, and I think I took it on a Monday, a Tuesday, and a Thursday. And I learned the technique.
Same week?
Yeah, same week.
Okay.
And I learned the practice and how to do it. And on that Friday night, I was at my place, and I'm in my desk chair, and I'm doing the technique. And the technique, they actually want you to have a watch or a clock because for 5 minutes, you just breathe. For 20 minutes, you repeat in your mind this thing that they assign you a mantra. And the mantra is a sound. Imagine like the sound of like when a text goes off, like the bell on your phone, like that. But every mantra is different. So I learn all this, and I'm doing this technique on a Friday night, and
Friday night.
Yeah, and I'm about 8 minutes into the technique, right? And all of a sudden, true story, I burst into laughter Like you can't even, like the kind of laughter when you're with your friends where your abdominals hurt and you can't stop.
I
Like
love
Doug,
that.
like Doug on the show, right? So I figured out that I
you're-
laughed for like 6 or 7 minutes, right? So I finished the routine and I called the instructor, Linda, and I said, Linda, I don't know what's going on, but I just laughed for like 7 of the 20 minutes. And she said, oh, Michael, that is wonderful. That was a huge stress ball leaving your body.
Yeah.
And,
wait,
and
I'm like about to cry hearing like.
and one of the things she explained, she's mostly it's used for anxiety, right? But she said, imagine in the wintertime when there are icicles formed on a gutter, right? She said what the TM does, Transcendental Meditation does, that the icicles is your anxiety. And the TM chops all the icicles off of the gutter, and you can, clear your mind and get to a better place. And I mean, I've done it a lot. I did it a lot more then. I still do it now when I can feel, and this might help you with your bipolar, when I feel like I'm getting a little too fast, I will do it. And it really actually helps my putting, which is weird. It's crazy. Like if I do it the next day, I putt.
You think
awesome.
Aaron Rye did that before 17?
Maybe.
See,
But
that was insane.
what it really does is it organizes your mind from a little bit of chaos and a little bit too speedy to slows you down. And it's just an amazing practice.
You're like ready to do this, aren't you?
Well, I have done yogas and like stretching
Yoga's
routines.
great. Yoga's great.
That was one of the best parts of the most routine thing I have ever been able to do was yoga in high school. Shout out Elaine
You should
Perry.
do it again.
It's so good. But I like the idea of literally closing your eyes, so like cutting off stimulation or cutting off taking anything else in and just giving your body like, how long did you say it was until you started cracking up?
So it was probably 6 minutes into the meditation, and then I laughed for 6 or 7 straight minutes, and then I was able to have an awareness to finish the meditation, and then I called her. So the meditation's a 20-minute thing. Yeah.
So it's like giving your body just enough time to shed the outer layer of like, am I unsafe? This is a potential for everywhere, and am I
Well, and for someone with ADHD, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go for it.
I would imagine that this practice, TM, slows you down, right?
Much.
So ADHD, to me, I know lots of people that have it. I would think that would be beneficial to slow everything to a better pace.
It is. And that's like for the female with ADHD, it's so much more internal. That's like why ADD came out and has since been taken out of the DSM, whatever, because the hyperactivity is the emotions, kind of like what you were talking about. It's all that internal stuff. So girls aren't just like daydreaming. It's like they're taking in everything all at once, and it's so yoga was helpful because it was structured, because someone that was very calm, her name was Linda, like gave us all the directions, but it was still like I had to fight to keep my focus on what was going on in the room.
That's part of it. That's part of you got to fight to get better, no matter what it is, right? But what you're touching on is exactly what we're getting at here. Like, it doesn't matter if it's TM, yoga, cold plunge, gratitude journal, not drinking. Like, you need people that want to get well, that want to improve, that want to make their mental health stronger. You've got to find and be willing to experiment with the things that, you might enjoy the most. Like, I've done yoga before, but I'm probably not going to do yoga. But I know that TM, if I need it, is there.
Right.
And if you know things that work for you, that's what you got to use these things as weapons.
And that's what you had kind of mentioned about your mom, about Peggy, that, when she would, as sick as she would, like that seems, it's one of her fight backs is, I'm going to tell you how grateful I am because she was fighting. I mean, I think when he says competitive, we all have that fight in us. It doesn't have to be a sport.
That dog.
Yeah, that's true. You just sometimes you got to dig deeper to find it. Mm-hmm. But here, think about it this way. If you don't compete against it, it's going to swallow you up.
Right. Truly.
I don't know because it's like some part of me, like, like you said at the very beginning, like your body is made to protect you. So it's like, I trust my body. Yoga talk. I trust my body. So I trust that whatever my body's like putting me through is for good reason to whatever delusion my body is living under.
Can I ask a question? Do you think that's trauma response?
Well, perhaps.
Survival?
But yeah. I think a lot of bipolar is like it's hereditary, but I think also it's like, anyway.
Well, think about it this way. If you had a problem, no, it doesn't have to be a mental health problem, and you didn't do anything about that problem, it just stayed the same, right? It's going to stay the same. But if you do things to adjust and adapt, then you can make that problem not a problem anymore. I mean, it could be an eating disorder. It could be alcohol. Like if you allow these things that grab you, and you don't try to shake loose, well, then you're going to get sucked in.
It's in the driver's seat then, man.
Yeah.
And that's what I think we always say, like, you know, a lot, total control and control in a lot of ways is an illusion, but there are things you can control, and then having peace within the storm. I always go back to the serenity prayer and alcoholism, because if you are in relapse mode and then you drink, then that's in the driver's seat 100%, and that's what's driving. You might be able to survive XYZ amount of days, but it is in the driver's seat for an alcoholic or an addict.
Well, and one of the biggest challenges for all people that are struggling with whatever it is, they're afraid to try new things.
Sure.
You get set in your ways, you know, whether that means you sit on the couch too much or, you know, you sit on the same bar stool too much. Like, it's just difficult to get out. If you have a bad habit, it's hard to create new habits, at least in my experience.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you know what they say about change, Kurt?
Golden goose.
Opposite side of change.
How have you noticed, like, you've been dealing with this for 20 plus years, correct?
25 years. That's crazy.
The evolution of how society views this and the stigma that goes along with it. I think we've made strides, but like I saw a clip maybe yesterday of Dana White talking about men's mental health and kind of in a disparaging way, like almost like he didn't believe in it. And I don't want to misquote him, but obviously we haven't come all the way in terms of getting rid of the stigma and accepting that it's a real thing that a lot of people deal with.
I kind of understand his viewpoint because he's in a world where weakness is not shared. You know what I mean? But I think I might have seen something similar to what you're talking about. He said he doesn't talk about any of the problems, right, that he has.
Yeah.
And I get that. Like, I understand that. But you don't have to talk about them. You can, but you have to take action to feel better. Like, I'm sure if Dana White didn't feel right, that guy looks like he exercises.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And he's around these guys that all they do is train. So I'm sure to a certain level he's in the gym. But yeah, I mean, some people just aren't as willing to talk about it. But I can tell you this, if my book would have come out in 1988, it would have never reached anybody. But because it came out in 2015, people were talking about it more. And I think COVID, while, you know, COVID did two things, right? It made a lot of people struggle with mental health, but it also shined a huge light on the fact that these mental health things are very real.
I agree with that. It really did.
I mean, it's true.
Because people, things were wrecked. Gyms were wrecked. AA meetings, yoga classes.
God, I mean, any sort of human
experience,
like, interaction, which I think just shows us, like, when we're on our own, like, everybody's struggling up here when you can't interact with the people who
Of course. Social interaction is so good for you.
And to that point, I think, you know, if there's the blessing of COVID was that did shine a bright light on how important social and how we are missing the mark a lot on the mental health.
For sure. Well, to take your question a little bit further, you know, there's certainly stigmas, and the stigmas were worse in the 90s and the early 2000s. And now, you know, everything's a little bit more out in the open, I think, because COVID was kind of a catalyst for that. But I guess one of the advantages I had with my bipolar, and the reason I chose to do the book, was I never really gave two shits about what people really thought of me.
Yeah.
And that can, I feel like that helped me. Like, somebody finds out I'm bipolar. Well, I know that I'm bipolar. It doesn't bother me. And the one thing I do see with a lot of people is, they're still afraid to talk about it. They don't want to, it's funny. You start talking to me about it and they start talking lower. They start whispering. It's like, hey, it's okay. You don't need to whisper. It's all right. So I guess I just had the advantage of not really caring what people thought about me, whether like, this guy's crazy, he's got bipolar. Okay, well, if that's what you think, good for you.
No.
That kind of thing didn't bother me, but I think I'm in the minority. I think a lot of people struggle with admitting what they really have, or they don't want to tell anybody about it, and that's up to you. That's a personal preference type thing. But I just never, one thing I've come to realize is everybody has something.
Amen.
It could be a mental illness. It could be addiction. It could be an eating disorder. It could be whatever. Everybody has something going on. Or if you don't have something, someone in your family or someone in your circle has it, and you're going to have to, face it sooner or later. So let's just go ahead and face it and then see where it can go.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think for however uncomfortable someone might be when I am just one-on-one in a conversation, like, I have bipolar, I experience blah, 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 blah. It would be much more alarming for them to see what happens when I have like a flare or like I forget a dose or something. It would be much more shocking or uncomfortable for them to see it rather than for them to hear it, whether they know it or not. But I feel the same way about like, if that's something that makes you not want to be my friend, like, thank you, I'd rather know now. Like, let me move on.
Yeah, you don't give a whole lot of fucks about what people think about you. I admire that now because I track that.
Well, I think it's a huge part of accountability is like, I'm I'm taking accountability for the fact that other people's admirations or like, I don't know, qualms defined how I feel about myself. So I'm taking accountability to figure out how I feel about myself,
Yeah, the word that keeps popping in my head right now as you guys are saying this is confrontational. So if you have a problem with alcohol or cocaine or a mental illness, bipolar, whatever it may be, if you're willing to be confrontational with the condition, you can improve. Okay. But if you won't confront it and you continue to sweep it under the rug, then it's going to get you.
And that's with everything. That's
absolutely.
Like, I think a huge misunderstanding about confrontation is that it goes hand in hand with conflict. Like, I think people use it interchangeably. But if you can healthily confront something by like, no shame here. If we're going to confront, it's not shame and blame. It's let's figure it out. And then we can come together to fix the problem.
Well, and to your point, it is healthy to confront.
Right.
Whether it's a conversation you need to have with somebody at work to get things in the right way, or it's a mental illness or an addiction. Like, if you're willing to confront, you have a chance to improve.
Yeah. And you can learn how to be better at being confrontational, but you have to be willing to do it.
I think to your point, there's conflict avoidant, and then there's people that avoid confrontation at all costs, which is dangerous. Conflict avoidant, I get it, but to confront, I think the other there's two pieces to that equation that will make you get confront it and not be afraid to ask for help in confronting it. I think those two together is a real powerful against any type of. Well, even if it's shame, we say it, Drug Church Underground, we say, I can do shame, Zoe can do shame, Mike can do shame, Kirk can do shame, but we collectively cannot do shame and battle it back. And shame one-on-one wins.
K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh, yeah, K-pop.
Well,
have you seen that? K-pop Demon Hunters?
There's a 0% chance he's seen K-pop Demon Hunters.
It's
what we're talking.
It's a movie, and it's all about the horrors of shame and how.
We'll add it to our list.
Well, I think one of the advantages that I had with battling mental illness was that with golf, you always had to be trying to get better, because golf is such that if you're not trying to get better, you're going to get worse. So that mindset, I think I adopted when it came to my bipolar. Like, and it took me a while, but I think the approach of we're just going to try to get better and better and better, and that's why improvement was made. But if you aren't aware of trying to improve or getting better, a little bit better each day. I mean, you guys have probably seen Anthony Kim, right?
Yes.
He's on the Live Tour now, and you want to talk about serious addiction.
I was going to ask about him and Gary Woodland before we let you go.
Yeah, but Anthony Kim's story is, I mean, who knows what he was doing, but he was almost dead. I mean, from what I understand. But now every single day on
and he
Twitter,
won this year, right? On tour.
He won. I think he won at least one term, and then his teams won a few. And what a talent he is. But one of the things that I really admire about him on Twitter every single day, or it seems like every other day maybe, he always posts 1% better each day. And that's the whole mindset, I think. That's how you get to where he got to, where he was in such a bad place where he was on the verge of death to now winning in a professional golf.
There's so much wisdom in that. Chaz talks about it all the time. When you talk meditation, he's a guy who needed to hear that with the other show we have on the podcast network, and he's a clinician, huge meditation guy. So I'm gonna talk to him about TM. What you say is helping your putting, your stroke.
It has,
putting.
yeah. I need to probably do it more often,
You
but
both.
it's a great calming practice, that's for sure. Especially I feel like if you're a person that doesn't exercise as much, TM could be really beneficial.
Gary Woodland, he struggled with mental health professional golfers. Recently won this year.
Yeah. Well, he had a brain.
Was it? Yeah. What was?
He had like a brain. He was either a brain tumor. I think it was a brain tumor, and they went into his skull and had to cut out the tumor.
Oh,
and then he got PTSD because of that.
That's what it was.
And then he won. But by all accounts, he's a great man. Everybody loves that guy. I've got some mutual friends with him in Florida, and I've never, there's only a couple guys out on tour where I've never heard anybody say anything negative. He's one of them. Ricky Fowler's another, and it's great to see what he's done. Yeah, they have. I've never really been around him.
Two gloves.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, it was working. It was definitely working.
At Belle Reve, when the PGA was here, I had heard this from, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I think Doug Armstrong was walking around the property with Gary Woodland because I thought they were friends somehow, GM of the Blues.
They are, because I know this, because Gary's caddy is a Canadian, and he's friends with Doug Armstrong.
That's got to be. You're probably the one who told me about this.
No, but I just found this out.
Right.
The reason I know this is because Gary Woodland's caddy qualified for the senior PGA about a month ago in Bradenton, Florida, and we were paired with him.
Oh, as a player?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
wow.
a great dude, and he asked me where I was from, and I'm from St. Louis. He's like, I'm friends with Dougie. I'm like,
nice.
Oh, no kidding.
Nice. So that, so
that's
was true.
The connection.
Okay. I had heard that, and so because of my fandom, I'm like, I'm a Gary Woodland fan, and he was playing really well, and then he kind of dipped the last couple of years, and then I didn't know about this. Was it a tumor? And that wasn't a TBI.
Brain tumor.
Yeah.
And his caddy's name is Brennan Little, just a great dude, obviously a very good player in his own right, and he's definitely friends with Doug Armstrong for sure.
And talk about who you're caddying now on the Champions Tour.
Bo Van Pelt.
And is this his first year on the Champions Tour or second?
He played like 10 events last year because he turned 50 last year.
Okay.
So he'll play all 25 or 26 events this year. But great dude from Indiana, went to Oklahoma State, married a girl from Tulsa, still lives in Tulsa the last 20 some odd years, and played 20 years on the tour. And talented guy and just a fun guy to be around, really.
Yeah, you told me that he's one of the most fun guys you've been able to caddy for,
without a doubt.
And I think you said it on TMA too. That was
he's just a regular guy. He's extremely down to earth for a tour player. The tour players, there's a lot of ego there, and a lot of them have been pampered for a long time, but he's just not like that. I mean, he's the kind of guy. If he lived in St. Louis, we'd all hang out with him. He'd probably be on the show on TMA quite a bit.
What's his? Does he drive the ball a mile?
He's really long. If he's not the longest hitter on that tour, he's in the top 3 for sure.
Really?
Like 295 in the air.
Oh shit!
And he's 50. He just turned 51 a couple of days ago.
That's really far, by the way. 295 in the air.
Yeah, he's got a lot of game. It's fun. It's fun to watch.
Sure.
Not that it's not fun to watch the other guys, but he's on this tour. He's on the younger side, and the younger guys are coming. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You said he's 51.
Yeah, I just turned 51 a couple days ago.
What's the average
So
age?
this
So
is the
the tour
Champions
that I
Tour.
work on is all the guys over 50.
Oh.
You have to be 50. You can't play unless you're 50.
They used to didn't they
okay,
used to
okay.
call it the Senior Tour now?
Yeah.
Or is now they call it the Champions Tour.
Because
Correct.
respect.
Do they
But
do
I
a stop at Ozark? A few years ago, they went to like Ozark
During
National.
COVID, they played at Johnny Morris's place down there. I think they played two of them. They played Ozark National and they played that par 3, the Top of the Rock.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess they did I think that was just a COVID thing because they needed some events. But
I think that
it's
par
too
3
bad.
has been under construction, or they
I'd love to go back there, man. I got so many friends down there.
I love it.
but I don't. It doesn't sound like it's going to happen.
Table Rock's great. That
I agree.
That Top of the Rock, that big cedar stuff is Disneyland prices. It's very
obnoxious.
And not that I've been all over the place, but this is my favorite course I've ever played.
That might be the best one down there.
Buffalo Ridge. I love it.
How'd you,
Beautiful.
What'd you shoot in the low 70s? Gets any
On the
warmer than
front,
I like
yeah.
it out. Yeah. Best 2 balls I hit the other day is when I stepped on a rake. That's my old man's. Okay, before we let you go, podcasting. You were doing a podcast.
Yeah, I did a podcast, a mental health podcast. with
I was
my-
on it.
You were with my friend
Eric Conley
Brandon
was on
McNamee. Yeah,
Eric was
the
on it?
Natty King.
The Natty King.
We did 30 episodes, but right at the end of right after like 30 episodes, I got this job on the Champions Tour, so my schedule just became
Yeah.
obnoxious.
Right.
And as you guys know, one of the hardest things about the podcast, it's a little like herding cats because you need the people, the host, you need the guest, you need the producer to be involved. And we had a really good producer, and Brandon was really, really good. I mean,
Yeah.
he is a phenomenal person, but also really good on the air. And it was good. It was called Street Smart Mental Health.
That's right. Yep.
And it's on the Apple.
It's still on my.
They're still on
library.
there. But yeah, I mean, I would love to do more of them, but it's just my schedule is crazy.
Right.
So
Well, when we hit it big and can
Hell yeah.
afford to keep it to compete with the Champions Tour, we'll hire you. We'll do a show together.
okay,
I have a last question.
Sure.
Just because it's so helpful. What, if you feel comfortable, what's the name of the TM place? You said it's in St. Louis?
Yeah, so just go to like Transcendental Meditation St. Louis, and then there'll be probably a handful of spots you can go. But the one I went to was in South County.
Okay.
I don't know, Linda. I don't know if
That's why
Linda's still doing it, but
You had a Linda at yoga, and he had a Linda.
they're all over the place. I mean,
Okay.
in every city.
Well,
I know there's one in Brentwood.
I want to go to
Ooh.
one that's like reliable, like. that
Well,
I
they're
know.
they're all. To be honest with you, it probably doesn't matter which one you go to because the whole key is just learning the practice. And you go to like I said, 3 or 4 classes, then you know it, and then you can use it.
And it's something you can do, in your computer desk chair.
Oh yeah, you could do. I've done it pulled over on the side of the road at a rest stop on the highway.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean it's a wonderful thing, especially. I feel like like I said, ADHD. It would be ideal for that. I think it's I mean, yes, it's good for bipolar, but I feel like people that have ADHD and any sort of anxiety, it would be helpful.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Thank you.
You got it.
Okay, that was my last anything, Chris.
No,
KG.
I mean, I can go for hours with Mike, but we'll let him out of here and have you back.
You talk. You say whatever you want. It's not like. I mean, has it stopped raining yet?
I
We might have to
probably-
stay here for another hour, regardless.
We got a somebody's texting me from the treatment center asking. Oh, they're just asking about cars. Always keeping an eye out. You never know.
Talk about ADHD.
You never know who's
Chris is in denial.
who's sure, truly. Never know who's pulling up to a treatment center. Zoe on her first trip had a Starbucks door dashed.
I didn't know.
Some guy, some strange car pulls up to the treatment center and drops off a bag, and everybody went. I mean, security was like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, Zoe.
Was it food?
It was a coffee, but
Was it a venti? I saw.
you would be surprised. what
Caffeine.
You can't get.
Chris went to Starbucks, didn't get me anything. And so then I was like, it's okay,
I own it.
I'm late, and so I'll just order it there. And so I pull up, and he's like, oh, thank God you're only 2 minutes late. I was like, my DoorDasher is a little bit later than I am. And he said, you're what? I was like, oh God. And then he had to go do like business Chris things. Or it was like whispering, and then it was like, It's fine. We just
I had to
to
just
wait by
alert
the door."
everybody that it was not a drug dealer.
It's like, Zoe, they're gonna think
Yeah,
it's.
just make that clear.
Sure.
Sorry, guys.
You're leaving in a couple weeks for East Coast trip,
No, Madison, Wisconsin.
Madison, Wisconsin.
Midwest. We go,
Go
Madison,
Badgers.
Wisconsin. Yeah, well, we're going to be there, and
Oh shit.
it's a great town.
I've heard
Party
it's really
town. How's-
fun.
Yeah, it is a party town.
Let me ask you before we let you go, how's the dating apps in Madison?
You know, I don't remember because last year, I think I was dating somebody last year, but I'll find out. I'll find out this year.
Wait, oh my god. Yeah. Okay, sorry. One last question. What's your app
Probably
of choice? What's
probably pretty good. I mean, Hinge is probably the best.
Okay, we talk about this all the time, but
Yeah.
we're landing the plane, so.
I mean, Bumble's been fine, but yeah, Hinge definitely seems to have the. I don't know. It seems like it's more. What's the word I would use? Classy, if that's
yeah.
possible.
You got to check out Field.
What's that?
It's by Kink.
Field.
FEELD.
Okay.
Very open to
Field.
any lifestyle you may be into.
All right. I will definitely check it out.
One woman wanted to breastfeed Kurt.
Really?
Yeah.
That's new.
Not his mom.
Right.
Not my
And
mom.
like,
That's definitely new. I haven't heard that.
She sent me a picture of her squeezing,
Okay.
and it was
was
emitting.
lactating.
She was
You're really
lactating.
selling this app.
Well, I'm trying to remember. We're not on PAFO right now.
yeah.
FEELD.
Yeah.
PAFO.
And she did say, "I can't wait to feed you."
Oh. Well,
And
how
it-
generous.
Ironically, you like to be fed, but
Oh, fuck.
Robin fed more than
Oh my
breastfed.
god. Anybody
She's gonna start-
need an insurance agent?
So
Because if you do,
call Evan McKelvey at just email me and I'll hook you up.
Zoe, do you use a dating app?
I have in the past. I'm one of the ones that like a little bit uses it for sport. You know how you can like screen share
For sport. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
like you can screen share like your iPhone onto a TV. That's how me and my friends would pregame my senior year of college. Is I would just pull up my Bumble and we would put it on the big screen. And
Where'd you go to school?
Taylor University. Yep,
Long plaid
Northern-
skirts,
Hell no.
Christian girls' school.
We actually could wear leggings there. Greenville can't say the same, but anyway. Don't tell them we were pre-gaming for church. Anyway.
Right, you were watching worship. Yeah, Zoe and Kurt have talked extensively about the dating app.
It's an
Or-
incredibly interesting topic.
It really is.
Especially from the other perspective. Like,
We're trying to get a dating show as part of the network.
it's like us
Okay.
starting a dating show is fucking hysterical,
Well,
first of all.
Mike on TMA has shared often about his ranks his cities, I guess, since you travel.
You know, it's incredible. Out of
in
all the
different area
time that I've
codes.
gone on that show, the most the most information or questions I get is all about the dating apps.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about professional golf. It's not about mental health. It's about the dating apps.
How you doing in Detroit?
Yeah, exactly. Detroit's good.
And am I mistaken, or did it all start down in West Palm with the young lady that we're both familiar with?
Sure.
Eskimo Brothers?
No.
I think that I never met her. I mean, you met her.
Kurt was trying to. Mike said, "Kurt, go check her out. Let me know how she is."
I was vetting.
Yeah, I was using the apps, pretty well before that, but that was kind of the first famous one on TMA. That's for sure, because it was such an interesting development with her. Like
She met you, right?
Oh, yeah. I went down and met her at Cucina and
wow,
had a club soda.
what a
and
spot!
It was a spot. Cucina? It's like the
That's a
brio of.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, that's a good
dogs gotta eat.
comparison.
But then she
Stop
got
it.
she got wind of some of the TMA conversations, and
She did.
I got a late night DM that was like a 6-paragraph essay,
Oh boy.
and then got
then
the
you got-
block.
Before
What
response.
what was the gist? Did
She's
she
not
mention
in this
TMA?
thing.
What's that?
Did she mention TMA in that?
Yeah,
novel?
I think somebody had tipped her off to some segments to go listen to, and she didn't like the
goodness.
the trust fund type of insinuations. But
Well, that was true.
yeah.
Well, then she has a poor sense of humor.
And you know what else is true is that she took herself so seriously as a musician, and now I think it's official that I have more streams than she does.
Oh, Navy caps on the road.
Which this weekend they're wearing them.
You think that $9 is going to double?
It's up past 9 now.
Yeah, take that, Iggy.
We're up in double digits.
Good for you, baby.
Thanks for the tip on Field.
Also the league.
The league?
The league.
That's what I thought you were going to ask him about.
What's the league?
It's like exclusive, high end.
Yeah, you almost have to be like accepted in, which
have
I
to,
just think
like-
they say that to make it seem exclusive, but you only get to see a couple profiles a day. It's not endless swiping. So
A different
Do you have to upload like your K1s?
Your what?
I don't know what a K1 is. I've heard that term, but I'm more of a 1099 guy.
Okay.
I'm more of
guess.
a
Venmo.
need to do
Venmo. You're a Venmo girl.
Zelle if you have it. Anyway.
Mike, thanks for coming out, man.
Hey, it
This
was
was
a pleasure.
awesome.
Thank you for
I
having me.
was excited for you guys to meet because of this shared
Condition.
passion and
Air and high five.
Yeah.
superpower is what we call it. And I appreciate all the work you do, your friendship. Last thing. This is really important. The work you're doing at Normandy. Can you talk about that for a minute?
Sure. So yeah, I mean, one of the things that's happened with my book and our foundation called Birdies for Bipolar is when I started in 2012 or 13, like I didn't really know where it was going to go. I just knew we needed to do something to create awareness. And when we had our first golf tournament at Gateway National, I called down to the VA hospital and I said, hey, can you send us some golfers? Like they don't need to pay, just we want them there. Both my grandfathers were in the Navy, so I wanted to kind of tip my cap to them to have some veterans out and join us. And so sure enough, they sent two foursomes, and they sent a gentleman out there named Herman Lugie. Herman's from right around these parts. Herman was the recreational therapy director at the VA hospital for 36 years. Wow. And he said, Mike, we're going to start trying to play golf every Thursday at Arlington Greens in Granite City. Would you join us? And at this time, I wasn't caddying. And so I was like, yeah, of course I would. So I started going out and playing with these guys for a few years, every Thursday. And, we would get 6 guys or 8 guys, maybe 10. And then I started caddying. I was on the road a lot. And I came back about 3 years ago, and I was out there playing on a Thursday with the guys. And Herman says, hey, we're averaging 79 and a half veterans every Thursday. And I said, are you kidding me? And so the thing that crossed my mind at the time was, these guys, they play from basically the beginning of May to Halloween, right? That's when the golf season is, when the weather's good. And I thought, this thing, it's taken on a life of its own. I mean, they have, they gamble. They threw $5 in every day to gamble. They have tee times for 2.5 hours. They have a champion's breakfast. They have a point system. Like, it's an organized, really awesome thing.
Cool.
But I was worried about the guys because I know seasonal depression in the wintertime can get a lot of their PTSD stirring. And I thought, we got to figure out a way for these guys to continue this league in the wintertime. And so what we needed to do is build a indoor golf simulator building so they could come and continue to, have something to look forward to in the winter and just continue to get them together. And so about 1.5 years ago, Normandy, people might not know, but Normandy Golf Club in North St. Louis,
The
Rock, if you will, is being redone. Mr. Jack Nicklaus has come in and waived his normal fee to redo the golf course and regrass it and put new bunkers in and cut down a bunch of trees.
It's incredible.
So I went to Tom O'Toole, who at one point was the president of the USGA, and he's kind of the chairperson behind Normandy. And I said, Tom, what do you think about us, creating this building and putting it on your property? And he was like, yeah, I love it. I love the idea. So what we decided to do is we're going to put this three simulator, hitting bays into a building that's also going to double as the halfway house, and we're going to put it on the back of the driving range at Normandy. So, so we've started fundraising, and we've got a lot of support, and I just think it's going to be really, really cool. But, if you would have told me in 2013 that we'd be doing this, I would have had no idea. Like, there was no organizing of this, or there was no thought of this. It just kind of organically happened.
That's amazing.
There was, when we were talking about it a couple of years ago, as this has been like a conceptual design coming to life, which is really cool. There were people and there were veterans driving from Indianapolis to Granite City every Thursday to play in this golf league. That's
So we did a video about with a guy. I found this out. I didn't know right away, but there was a gentleman who was driving 3.5, 4 hours every Thursday morning just to get here and play with these guys on Thursday. And I said, hey, why are you doing this? And why do you drive so far? 8 hours really there and back. And he said, because these are my guys. These are the guys that I fought with. These are the guys that understand me. These are the guys that I like to be around. And I mean, that just tells you everything right there.
Bingo.
And we didn't, this was all,
I'll never forget that story.
it was all organic. Like, we didn't like do any advertising. It just kind of, exploded in the course of maybe 4 years. COVID helped it. But now, like, you know, I was at the Dotem the other day.
Yeah.
One of the girls that was working for the dental company, her husband just retired from the Army or the Navy, one or the other, and he's looking for a place to play. So, I mean,
I think that's
it just happens.
Lauren's, I think it was Lauren. I know the girl you're talking about.
Okay.
She's great. Yes. And
she said her ex-husband was a veteran as well.
Yes.
Maybe it's him. Maybe it's the ex-husband.
It's the ex-husband. I think he just got back from a deployment.
That's what she said.
She's great. She's been to underground before. Yeah, she's incredible. All those folks are great over there at that Dr. Pryor's dental institution. I went.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, when I go out there, and we've sent these guys to some other places too to play golf. You know, some of the amputees. There's some amputee events around the country we sent them to, but it's really cool because golf is kind of secondary. It's more about like getting them all together, and
Community.
They give each other trouble. And yeah, there's so much camaraderie, and golf is just the perfect vehicle to get them, you know, in the same place each week. So
it's like their church and therapy all into one. Well, whatever we can do as it gets closer to any type of fundraising time, let us know. We'll blast it, and go on a raise for you guys, because I've fully behind and support this mission, and I can't wait to see it finally. It'll be here sooner than later.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the whole, like, 9 holes will be open by 4th of July, and then maybe the whole course will be open by Halloween or maybe Thanksgiving in there. And then
that's wild.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, they still have to do the clubhouse, and the same company that's doing the clubhouse is going to do our building. I think it's Clayco. So I'm not totally sure about the exact timeline, but it's going to be here soon.
Yeah. Well, whatever we can do to help, man. I think that's
thank you, sir.
Incredible. I've always admired your love and support for the veterans. Right here for that battle. We serve a lot of veterans here at Illinois Recovery Center. We have a veterans only meeting every Thursday night.
Awesome.
Here in the gym. So it's
I mean, the thing about the veterans to me is, like, and I hope people realize this, and I think most people do, but, you know, without them doing what they have done, like, we wouldn't be able to sit here and do this. No. We wouldn't be able to go play golf anywhere. Like, the freedom that they've created needs to be recognized.
And on so, that, written in the notebook every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mike, appreciate it so much. I love you to death. Thanks for driving all the way out here in a thunderstorm and bad traffic. We appreciate it.
Happy to, anytime.
Yeah. I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. Yeah. React if you have to. Yeah. Don't know the time, yeah. Just know that I'm, one of a kind, yeah. What's on your mind, yeah. We're hard to find, yeah. Beautiful mind, yeah.